Good morning, everyone, or good evening, depends on where you are watching or what time zone you are watching this in. Welcome to International Student Orientation live event session. If you are tuning in, you have tuned in to learn information about how to stay healthy at UT Dallas, whether you are studying with us in person or whether you are studying with us virtually. Now, just to go over some logistics about this event, you are able to see and hear us. However, we cannot see nor hear you. You will have the opportunity to ask questions, and we do have a comment box that is located on your right side. It's in the top right corner, and it has a little chat box with a question mark in it. And that comment box will be open towards the end of the session, just to make sure that everyone has time to listen to all the information before we ask our questions. Closed captioning is available if you would like to take advantage for that. Just look for a button that has CC written on there, and that is going to be towards the bottom right of your screen. Now, without further ado, I'll go ahead and just introduce all of our presenters at once, but they will be on the screen to present their information separately. The first person I'd like to introduce is Dr. Claire Zhao. She is a psychologist in the Student Counseling Center. We also have with us Casey Siebenecker. She is the director of our Student Wellness Center. And last but not least, we have with us the wonderful Trisha Lasavio, who is the director of recreational sports here at UT Dallas. I believe we will actually begin with Dr. Zhao. So next slide, please. Okay, so Dr. Zhao, I will let you take it away.
Cool. Thank you, Tamara. Hi everyone. I'm not sure where you are. I really wanted to welcome all of you to UT Dallas. We're in this such a unusual time, but I hope everyone can take some time to take care of yourself in whatever way you feel supported, and do make your mental health a top priority. I do wanted to start by introducing myself, and the majority of my part will be introducing the services we're providing. If you are not currently in the States, we also have a bunch of different options. Hope you can stay connected with us. So I am Dr. Claire Zhao. I'm a staff psychologist at the Student Counseling Center. I provide a bunch of different services. Some are more like therapy, where we talk in a confidential way to address your mental health concerns. Some are more like today, how we're presenting, talk in an open format where we can collaboratively address how we can support each other to cope with all the difficulties and all the challenges, especially in such an unusual time. Next slide, please. So where to find us? Currently in the summer semester, we are providing all the clinical and non-clinical services in a virtual format, which means if you schedule individual therapy, group therapy, or other therapy services, such like psychiatric services, we do that via Microsoft Teams. We will contacting you, send you a link, and we will have a virtual meeting where you can see us virtually. But there are a lot of other ways you can find us, even not as our client, quote unquote client. The first way we really wanted to talk about is to check our website. So I have our website presenting on this slide, www.utdallas.edu/counseling. It has has a very thorough introduction of the type of services we provide and address a lot of potential questions you might have for us or for other department at UTD. The second way of connecting with us is to check our Instagram and Facebook account, which is at UTD Counseling. We post a lot of mental health services like coping strategy, and we also infrequently hold a lot of different activities. Well, currently it's virtual activities, but there are a lot of ways you can connect with us. So be sure to subscribe, be sure to connect with our Instagram channel. I was referring to subscription because we also have a YouTube channel. It's UT Dallas Student Counseling Center. Again, our YouTube channel is UT Dallas Student Counseling Center. On that channel, we posted a lot of different workshops that provide psychoeducation about different topics. For example, recently we uploaded a video about sleep and self-care. We also have other topic such as time management, how to better manage your time. Especially, I learned that majority of you are grad student, might have a lot on your plate, and it's difficult to manage anyway. So we have a lot of really hands-on strategies that you may try out yourself a little bit. And also the best way to request for services to connect with the therapist is to email us, and our email address is listed on the slide. Is counselingcenter@utdallas.edu. Again, it's counselingcenter@utdallas.edu. You may just email us and we will get back to you as soon as possible to introduce our services and help you understand how to set up an appointment if you do want to start counseling, whether that's individual or group counseling. Next slide, please. And on this slide, I was listing a lot of clinical services that could potentially be be something that support your mental health. First of all, we provide brief individual or couple teletherapy, which is up to 6 sessions. So from August this year to August of the following year, you can have free of charge up to 6 sessions of individual or couple counseling. It depends on your concerns. So we'll be helping you, collaborating with you to decide which one will be serve your interest. If you have some relational concern and even your partner is not a UTD student, we can still provide couple teletherapy. But if your concern is something you would like to address individually and you wanted to talk more thoroughly with a therapist, we will explore how individual therapy can be helpful for you. And the second format we wanted to introduce is virtual group therapy. Currently, we because this is summer and people might have other things on their plate, on their schedule or so, we only have one virtual group therapy. It's called Personal Growth Group. But in the fall semester and later, and usually across the academic year, we have a very live group therapy program. We have a lot of different type of groups supporting different identities. For example, last semester, well, it's last year, I guess. Both last year and last semester, we have a special group primarily for international students to support your well-being, to talk a lot about topics that may concerns you, that may be helpful for your experiences to transition into a new learning environment. So if you find something that you're interested, please be sure to join us or ask for what about group therapy? How can I be helped in group therapy? And other questions you may have for that. And the third bullet point I listed is virtual extended workshop series. For group therapy, on the second bullet point is more like an open space to talk about your relationship with other people, your relationship with yourself, and how can you further improve yourself and your relationship with other people. But there are times we really want to learn some hands-on strategy. You really want to know, oh, if I follow these 3 steps, I may feel better. I may have a better sleep. I may eat better. I may have a better mood, or all of that. So virtual extended workshop series serve that purpose. We currently hold 2 type of workshop series. One is to address depression. If you're constantly feeling down, sad, lack of motivation, it's really hard for you to get up in the morning and always feeling exhausted. And we have 3 hours in 3 individual weeks to talk about what is depression, how can we use some strategies to address all of the concerns you were having, and practice that a little bit in your own time. Another series we are presenting and we will continue to present is about anxiety. If you constantly anxious about things, cannot stop yourself from worrying, feeling your heart is palpitating all the time, your muscle is tensed all the time, and all of that, we will be having another 3 hours of workshop to talk about that, to give you a lot of really practical suggestions to address your concerns. Besides that, I really wanted to point it out. As you can see on this slide, we have a 24/7 crisis line, which is 972 UTD talk, 972-883-8255. This crisis line is served to support you when the counseling center is not open during business hours. I really hope that as a UTD student, you can utilize all the services. Don't feel that, I don't know what is a crisis. I'm not sure whether I should be reaching out for support. Whenever you feel on edge, or you feel that you cannot handle it yourself, or you just want somebody to support you in that moment, I strongly encourage you just to go ahead and call that number and let the mental health providers on that end to see if there are better ways to support you, other resources they can introduce to you and help you navigate the tough situation. Again, I really wanted to promote our YouTube channel because we are still uploading new conversations, new topics. So hope you can find something helpful on our YouTube channel. Next slide, please. And besides general counseling, we also have a bunch of tailored services, such as eating disorder assessment. If you have concerns around your body images, the way you eat, and that is really stressful for you, that is some type of treatment or services we can provide. WPASS is for people who have concern about their gender identities, or they're considering to seek support for gender affirmation surgery. We can walk you through that process and also provide you support because it can be a really, really stressful process. Besides that, because we're pretty resourceful for all the services locally in Dallas area and also across the country and even across the world, I will encourage you to connect with us if you want to know about mental health services in your area or in Dallas area. We'll try our best to find you a certain information. Besides that, we also have psychiatric evaluation and follow-up appointment, which means if you are considering taking medication to treat your mental health concerns, we do have staff to do some assessment, to have a conversation, to provide some psychoeducation about whether that is appropriate for you and what would that process like for you. And besides that, I do wanted to emphasize if your department, your program, or some student or you're involved in want to have a longer conversation, because today we might have a shorter time to address a lot of concerns, address a lot of services we're holding. But if you want to have an extended conversation, please reach out to us via our email counseling center. At utdallas.edu again to request for outreach presentations just like today and some other virtual events. So we're happy to brainstorm new ways to support you all, and we can be really, really flexible in that. For the summer semester, services are free for all students, and in regular academic year, like the fall semester, it'll also be free. Of course, the medication will be outside of that. We cannot cover the fee for medication, but for all the individual services, assessment, and other type of services, outreach, it'll be free for all students. Next slide, please. I'm aware that many of you are currently not in the States, and particularly not in the state of Texas. So I do wanted to set aside a slide to talk about other services we can support you. One is we do have a lot of one-time consultation spa so that you can learn about mental health resources. You can probably figure out at least a direction for you to navigate your difficulties, and it is provided by one of our therapists. And the second thing is we do have some space for comment chat, which is it's a drop-in conversation. It'll be confidential, that we don't share your information with anyone, including your peers, as long as you're 18 and older. But that conversation is also something can temporarily help you figure out solution-focused it will be a pretty solution-focused conversation to help you address some concern, at least, again, figure out a direction to move forward. Each student can sign up for 15 to 20 minutes, and for specific time, we're offering comment chat. Please subscribe to our Instagram, and you can explore our website as well for the times we're providing that service for now and for fall semester. We've provide some one-time standalone workshop. In the past week, we had a conversation about grief and loss, because that's a lot of that's what a lot of students are experiencing in this difficult time, and we will change different topic based on the situation and based on the need of the student body. So for that type of services, you don't have to be a client of the counseling center to attend. You can just see when it is holding up. You can just attend by the ways of our described on our Instagram post. And again, be sure to follow our social media account for updated information. Next slide, please. And on this slide, I listed a bunch of concerns students may have for coming in, but I do wanted to emphasize this is not an exhaustive list. If you have concerns on this list, like acculturation concerns, identity, be sure to contact us. But if you have other concerns not listed, it is also very welcome for you to request for services. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. I'm aware that is actually actually the next slide will be talking about how to refer a friend and ask you if you have other concerns. I really wanted to emphasize is that mental health concern is something all of us may experience at certain points. So I really hope you don't shy away from getting yourself supported. Thank you all. I know this is a very short conversation and I tried to squeeze in a lot of different things. You might still feel confused. Please let us know if you want other information, and I will be happy to reach out to you then. And that concludes my conversation and presentation today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Zhao, for sharing that information with us. Please excuse us, we're having a bit of technical difficulties, but we are working on getting everything together. Well, up next, we will go ahead and introduce our next presenter, who's going to be the director of the Student Wellness Center, a very wonderful center. We have worked with them on our Instagram Live events. We're going to have Casey Siebenecker share with us about what the Student Wellness Center is and how it serves our UT Dallas community.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Well, here we are in our homes, but we are still here working for students. Our goals in the Student Wellness Center is to provide students with education and information so that they can make good decisions for themselves in regards to their health and wellness. Next slide, please. Thank you. And so the way we do that is we offer one-on-one consultations to students. We go into classrooms and give presentations. We host a lot of large events on campus, and we use our social media a lot, even more so now that we are virtual. But we want students to hear our message. We want them to hear information so that if they have questions about nutrition, am I eating the right food? Should I be doing this? What about this new diet I heard of? That they can get that information from us in different methods and then make choices that are right for them. And so you will never hear anybody in our department say something like, you should be doing this. Don't do that. Our goals are to let you make those decisions for yourselves with the information that we provide. So if you are considering, maybe drinking alcohol for the first time and you're not sure how it's going to affect your body, we're not going to tell you don't drink alcohol. These are the bad things that can happen. We're going to tell you if you choose to, these are some consequences that could occur, but here's how to do it safely. And so that's our method with all of the topics you see there. We think it's important to consider all of our students as adults, and we are all in charge of our own bodies. And so empowering students to make those choices with the information we provide is our main goal. We also want to help you in terms of your academic performance. We know that some of these topics can affect how you perform in class. Sometimes you might be sick and you miss class, or maybe you have a family emergency, or maybe you're super stressed out and it's causing you to not perform to your normal ability. And that's part of what we do. We want to help students not have those things happen and be able to manage school and their health and wellness and their personal lives at the same time. So if you have any concerns about health and wellness and you just want information, you want advice, you want to know more about something, that is what our department does. So any of those topics there. We also talk about healthy relationships often, in addition to sexual health. Anything that you may need, please reach out to us. That is our main goal, is to communicate with students in any way, shape, or form. And we also work with other departments often in terms of referrals. So if we have students who come in and maybe they're stressed due to their academics, we often refer them over to their professor or the Student Success Center for tutoring and just remind them of the services that they have available to them from UT Dallas. The same thing goes with our other health services. Sometimes students come to us and they actually need to go to the health center for a physical or for any sort of other treatment for their physical health. So we would refer to the health center for that. And then we often refer over to the counseling center if we feel like students would benefit from those services. We partner a lot with University of Recreation, who you will hear from here in a minute. And we just think that our partnerships with these other health services are important to provide a holistic approach to health and wellness to our students. So you will often hear us talk about other services because a lot of what they do, we don't do, but we want to be able to remind students that they do what they do. So if you're ever questioning, I don't know where to go, I don't know what service I need, come to us and we can help you figure that out, because we refer to them all the time. Next slide, please. So we are virtual right now. Our physical department has been closed since March, and we're not sure when we're going to open back up, but we are doing a lot virtually. We can still provide one-on-one consultations for students. We are still doing presentations for student groups and hopefully in the fall for classrooms. And we're also doing our large events through our social media. If you need a service from us and you want to reach out, email us, check out our website, visit those two places, because that's how you're going to get into direct communication with us. And so again, if you're not sure what service you need, email us. If it's not the right spot, we will forward it on to the correct service that you are looking for. Next slide, please. And one of the most important things that you could hear from me today is to follow us on our social media. We use all of the forums you see on your screen, and with those we provide education. We do outreach. We will do Instagram Live or YouTube videos. We post, on Twitter, we post really important articles maybe related to COVID and what's going on. So if you just want to stay in tune with what's going on and get some information about the topics that I shared earlier, I encourage you to visit our social media platforms, follow us. All of them are healthy comments. So healthy comments on Instagram, healthy comments on Facebook, on Snapchat. So follow us so you know what's going on and you don't miss any of the events that we host throughout the semester. Our social media will be how our events are hosted this fall. So that is our plan, is to host most of our events virtually. And we do give out prizes and giveaways through those events. So if you want to win prizes and get free stuff, like our social media, participate in those events, and that's how you get involved. I think that's all I have.
Okay, thank you so much, Casey, for sharing that information. Everyone, please reach out to the Student Wellness Center for more information and details on their services. Next up, our last presenter, last but certainly not least, is the Director of Recreational Sports. Everyone knows her on campus, and I'm sure you'll get to know her and love her too, Miss Trisha Lasavio. Trisha, please take it away.
Good morning, evening, afternoon. Say hello to the sun or the moon, wherever you are. I just came up with that off the top of my head, so I was a poet and didn't know it. Okay, first of all, thank you guys for joining us today for the presentation on university recreation. I'm going to go through a lot of information and that we have and that we want to welcome you when you get to campus. And we also have a lot of variety of programs and services that you guys can utilize online as well. Next slide, please. University recreation is comprised of the Activity Center and Rec Center West, and you're scrolling through a few slides, and we'll just let the slides scroll through as I talk. That's fine. The Activity Center, as you can see, it has a 10,000 square foot fitness center. We have a climbing wall. We have an indoor 25-yard pool. The main gym is home to varsity athletics. We have informal recreation, volleyball. We also have squash and racquetball courts and an auxiliary gym that can host indoor soccer. Rec Center West, or Recreation Center West, or RCW is the acronym we refer to it as. It is housed north of campus in the middle of all the residence halls. So for those of you that will be living on campus anywhere near the north side of campus, feel free to stop in and check out the Rec Center West. It also has a fitness center and a gym, and predominantly that space is utilized for badminton and volleyball. And we also have kind of a small outdoor rental program where you can rent, even if you don't own anything. We have tents, backpacks, sleeping bags, coolers, lanterns, anything you'd want to do to go on a quick overnight trip in the DFW area. And outside, as you can see in that last slide that's left up there, we have 3 outdoor basketball courts, 10 tennis courts, we have sand volleyball, we have 10 soccer fields, And we also have a slacklining area for those of you that are outdoor enthusiasts. You can rent a slackline, come out there and just have fun playing around on our slackline area. Next slide, please. We also offer competitive sports. Now, don't let that scare you if you're not a competitive person. That's just what we kind of have named this department within University Recreation. We have 27 current clubs, and some of them are competitive, some of them are recreational, and some of them are social. So we have, you see the 3 slides that are up there now, but we also have a lot of martial arts type classes. We have dance classes, dance clubs. We have table tennis, we have badminton. So if you do not see a sport, a club sport, and you want to start one, you are more than welcome to do so. We encourage you to create your own clubs within University Recreation. Next tab, I believe, should go, thank you. We also offer intramurals. And now what intramurals is a little less structured. You play against other students on campus. You form a team, for example, basketball, flag football, volleyball. We also have some other sports like disc golf. We'll have a putt-putt competition virtually. I think it's at the end if you want to go to the next slide, please. Everybody has heard of esports or online gaming and everything like that, and that is what we have turned into now, I believe. So when you get to campus or from the comfort of your own home, you can create a profile on IM Leagues, and that will give you access to sign up and compete. These are some of the examples of what we're going to do. Our next event actually is the NBA 2K20, which we're going to start that with hopefully with the start of the NBA on July 30th. And we will try to have a tournament format where you play against another player and then you just work your way through to the finals. We will also offer some other virtual sporting events as best as we can, and also some in-person events while managing social distancing. Next slide, please. Now, for those of you who are fitness enthusiasts or just or if you're not and you're just tired of sitting on your couch and you want something fun to do, we have a very robust group exercise program, or Group X as we like to call it. We offer yoga, Zumba, we have HIIT classes, which is a high intensity interval training class. We also offer beginner classes. So for those of you that have never done a group exercise class before, we don't want you to feel intimidated thinking you're going to walk into one of those classes that are just going to be overwhelming with a bunch of people in there that know what they do. I participate in those classes and I love doing Zumba. I can't dance a lick, but it's a great exercise and I have fun doing it and I laugh. And laughter burns just as much calories. And in this day and age, we need to laugh as much as we can. So if you're on campus, we're going to offer most of our classes virtually. You can do them in the comfort of your home, which makes it even better, or within your residence hall with a couple of your roommates. That would be great. We also have personal training. Let me see what the next slide is, please. I can't remember if that's personal training or not. Yes, we also have personal training. And what that will do will allow you, if you're a novice or if you're an experienced person that has been working out, we have trainers that will be able to help you meet your goals. So let's say you're a novice and you've never worked out before and you just want to understand how to utilize the weight room. Well, first and foremost, we will be more than happy to give you a tour of our facility at any point in time that you are on campus and would like to just walk around and see what all the equipment is. So we have student staff that are very knowledgeable and would be more than happy to show you how to utilize the equipment. However, if you would like to build your own workout program, but you just don't know how to start, we have personal trainers that are available that can help you design a workout program that will fit your needs, nutritional advice as well. And you can do singles, doubles, or small group. So if you and a couple of your friends want to get together because you don't want to work out by yourself, and the buddy system for accountability is very good. It makes each of you get off the couch and come to the activity center or rec center west, or in your own home, you can do them together as well. We'll figure that out. and they will help you design a program and help you meet your fitness needs. Next slide, please. So what we have started offering during this environment is virtual classes that we refer to as VFit. And as you can tell from the slide, we offer a variety of classes each week. Some you can join us live, or we record them as well. So if you can't participate at 10 a.m. on a Thursday, we record them. You can access them. They're for free, and you can then participate later on when it fits your schedule better. Next slide, please. Okay, so we have a variety of special events, and we're going to do our best to try to make some of these virtual. Now, granted, that last slide is an event we have. It's called Silent Disco, and I'll go off script here. For those of you who have never seen this before, it's basically a dance party with headphones and only the people wearing the headphones. So if you see the red, the green, and the blue lights, those are the headphones, and each person can listen to 3 different channels of music. So, but it's completely silent. If you don't have a headphone, you don't hear any of the music. So it's a real neat environment. And if I can figure out a way to do that virtually, that'll probably be the #1 thing we would bring back to campus. Next slide, please. We offer a variety of events in the fall and the spring. We will be able to do Stress Busters is one of the events that we partner with everybody within the Wellness Pod. And we did a lot of things virtually this past semester, and we'll also continue those into the fall semester as well. Next slide, please. Friday After Class is a new event that we just started this past year. And it's just a couple hours once a month, as it says on the slide. It's just a different it's more social than it is recreational. It's more about learning about different departments on campus. And then, as you can tell, you can play giant Jenga, giant Connect 4. We bring out our slack line and tents, and we just sit around, make s'mores sometimes. It just depends upon what's going on and what we feel like doing, ice cream floats and things like that. So just pay attention. Our next slide, please. That might be the end. Okay. I forgot to include, and I didn't realize it until the other 2 presenters, is I didn't tell you how to stay in touch with us. We are also on all the social media platforms of Twitter, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and we're at UREC. So if you just follow us, search for us, you can follow that. And our website is also utdallas.edu/UREC, and everything that I mentioned can be found on our website. And I can't wait to meet you guys, to see you guys, welcome you all, whether it's virtually or in person. Feel free to come by and hang out at any point in time. Thank you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I think we're ready for questions.
Thank you, Tricia, for sharing all about recreational sports and how students can still take part of the services that are still available here at UT Dallas, whether they're in person or virtually. The comment section, or the question and the question chat box, is currently open. So you are now free to post your questions in the comment box. Currently there are no questions, but I do have questions because I always have questions. So I have a question for each guest presenter, and I'm actually gonna give y'all some more camera time. So I'm going to go in order of presenter. So I'm actually going to start with Dr. Zhao. So Dr. Zhao.
Yes.
I have a question in regards to counseling. So I know you said the Student Counseling Center can provide individual counseling up to 6 sessions for students. Mm-hmm. For a lot of individuals that do want to seek help, or they do want to ask questions about, whatever is concerning them in their life at the moment, how do you ensure that the information that is shared with you is not shared with anybody else? Because a lot of times when you're going through things, and you're trying to deal with it by yourself, the last thing is that you want this information to be, shared all over. So can you tell us a bit about how that works, and particularly how does it work if you have like an undergraduate student who is, maybe a bit younger in age, and so they have parents, and so do you communicate this information with their parents? So can you talk a bit about the counseling service and kind of like the privacy and how that works?
Yeah, sure. I'm happy. I'm really excited that you asked this question. That is something I included on some of the slide, but wasn't able to get through all the information around it. So confidentiality is a really, really important issue for all the therapy providers. We really, really value your privacy. We'll do whatever we can to best provide that emotional safety and also protect your health-related information. So how it works is, as I mentioned earlier, that if you're 18 years and older, for sure you hold the privilege of your own information, health-related information and other information, and it is the legal and ethical standards we have to follow as mental health providers to not share information with anyone, including your parents, your friends, your partner, and also teachers, staff at school. Faculties reaching out to us asking whether you have certain concerns. We even cannot acknowledge or deny that you are seeking services at the counseling center. That's how we can provide, ensure confidentiality. But I do wanted to emphasize there are some limitations to that because your safety is the most important thing. There are several conditions we have to reconsider that situation. One is if you are if any student make a threat to kill themselves and with very specific plans, I know that that conversation might make some of you uncomfortable, but I do wanted to provide this information very clearly that if we're really, really concerned that you are in some imminent danger to yourself or to other people, that any student coming in make a threat to harm physically other student, other people, we have to reach out either to the police, local police, or the local hospitals if you are in the Dallas area or in some other states in the US. We have to make sure that you're physically safe. So, but in those situations, we'll still in close collaboration with you and explaining to you to the best we can that why we have to make this decision, why we have to put your safety in top priorities. And also, if you're involved in some legal cases and we receive an order from the court that they request for your information, we have to cooperate with them, but also will involve you in this process and provide you other options where you can seek support, seek additional consultation, advices, and all that. We really wanted to emphasize. For another part of the question, what if you are young, 18 years and old and younger? For younger students, there are certain, it's a little bit complex that there are certain conditions. If you meet those criteria, you might still make decisions for your own mental health services. But we really encourage you to connect with us so that we can talk specifically what are those conditions and what the rationale besides it, within it, and also if you don't meet those conditions, what will happen. We do want to have a more in-depth conversation around that, so that's another way why you should definitely email us, reach out to us, and have a longer conversation.
Cool. And I do have one more question, Dr. Zhao. So I know that you speak Mandarin, correct?
I do. And we also have another staff, one of our assistant director, Dr. Prachi Sharma. She also speaks Hindu. So that's a variety of language we speak. And starting in August next next month, we will have some other providers coming in. They're currently grad students, but they are also pretty experienced therapists themselves, and they may have other languages they speak or bring a lot of other different skill set to support you all.
Great. So you all heard it. If you are more comfortable receiving services, whether it be in Mandarin or Hindi or some other languages, our mental health professionals are able to serve you, because sometimes, speaking in your native language, it's just the most comfortable thing, and it's the kind of the best way that you feel like you can express yourself. Thank you so much, Dr. Zhao, for sharing that information with us. Please reach out to the Student Counseling Center if you have further questions. Okay, so next up, I am going to call for Casey to tell us a bit more about some stress management tips. So I know everyone listening is going to reach out to y'all on Instagram and on your TikTok, but in the meantime, while we're connecting with you, what are some stress management tips that we can utilize to just kind of like help take us through this very challenging time?
Yeah, so in general, what we recommend for stress management is to find something that works for you. I think that there's a big misconception that stress management is exercise or meditation or reading a book. That might not work for you. So what works for you? And finding a good balance. So we don't want our stress management technique to take away from, our work or school or classwork, but it needs to be incorporated into our lives daily. So I always like to embark upon students to make stress management part of your daily schedule, and it's a habit. So the more you do it, the better you will be at it. So stress relief and self-care is not selfish. We all have to make time to do that. And what that looks like for you could be, very different. It could be, you enjoy cooking, and so you're going to cook to relieve your stress every day. It could be taking your dog for a walk. Whatever it may be, it could be video games. Whatever it may be is fine, as long as it doesn't take away from, your other activities. And what I mean by that is, if you like to play video games, and you're playing video games 12 hours a day, you're probably not getting your schoolwork done. So you need to find some sort of balance so that you can do that self-care, stress management technique or behavior while still accomplishing everything you need to accomplish. A lot of times we have students who have very busy academic schedules, and they also work and they have families, and stress management or self-care is the first thing to go off of your to-do list every day. And that's very understandable. But we are here, the Student Wellness Center, to keep reminding you that you're a human being, and humans are not meant to go 100% of the time, 24 hours a day. You need mental breaks, and by taking those breaks, it will enable you to perform better in the classroom, at work, and so on. For right now, in the current times that we are in, I've heard a lot from students that they're having stress based on watching the news and hearing everything going on. I have felt that too. I'm sure our entire panel can relate to that. We want to be informed about what's happening in our world, but there is also a balance there. We can be over-informed, and if news and the daily news makes you upset or causes you to be anxious or to cause stress or it causes negativity, limit how much you're checking the news. There's still a way to be informed on what's happening without having it affect your daily life. And so, when COVID first happened back in March, I checked the news multiple times a day, and I knew it was taking a toll on my mental well-being. And so now I check it once a week. And so I don't feel like I'm missing anything by not checking it every day. Checking once a week, I still feel informed, but it doesn't affect my daily life, and I can carry on and still get my work done and interact with my children in a happy, positive frame of mind. So stress management and self-care, it's all about balance and just recognizing when you need it and letting yourself know it's okay to relieve your stress. It's not selfish, it's not laziness, it's needed.
Thank you so much, Casey. I think those are very good points because, you know, a lot of our students are so competitive, and you are right, like your stress management strategy shouldn't be causing you more stress, because then that just compiles the problem that we're already trying to solve. So thank you for sharing that information. And hopefully our students will be mindful of that. And if they do want further information, they will reach out to you.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. All right. Next up, we have Trisha Lasavio. So, Trisha, I have some questions for you. Now, to be honest, when I was in high school or college, I did not play any sports. Even though I'm from Jamaica, did not do a lick of sports. So I would like to know, you shared about that there's like an e-sport team, or you know, this virtual league that students can be a part of. Are there any fees associated with joining this league? Do you know?
Oh, great question. To participate in intramural sports, the esports league, there's no fee. Now, some clubs have a fee depending upon their activity. For example, if you join the soccer club and they are the competitive side and they travel, you may have to pay, 20 or 30 bucks to chip in towards gas and renting a van and things like that. Now that's in a perfect world. Now, COVID world, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just telling you in a perfect world or pre-COVID world. So, but some clubs may just charge $10 because it's a social club, like one of the ballroom dance clubs, and they just put that towards maybe providing snacks or some music that they want to download or things like that. But to participate in intramural sports, any of our intramural sports is free and is part of your tuition and fees on campus.
Cool. That's very neat. I am really impressed by a lot of the facilities that are here, by the way, because as I said, when I went to school, I didn't participate in sports. Neither did my university have squash rooms. Like, I was so impressed when I came here and I saw the squash rooms. Like, they're so much fun, and they do help, relieve stress. Currently, I'm not sure, they probably are not open, but I mean, the facilities here are really, really great, everyone. And, for those of you who are not able to join us in person as yet, when you do get here, trust me, you should take full advantage of what we have. Now, I do have one more question for you, Trisha, and this is about the Homecoming 5K. Now, I want you to talk a bit about that because for some people in some countries, like, once again, my country, the concept of homecoming was something that we didn't really have. So I want you to tell us a bit about that. But before you do, I just want to switch to some questions that we actually got in the comments. Actually, one of them was a comment. They were very happy to see that the Counseling Center offers services in Mandarin. So yay for the Counseling Center. And then there's a question here about health insurance. They're asking whether or not they need to pay health insurance, even if they're going to start virtually for fall. So I'll go ahead and reply to that question. Basically, I am going to ask any questions about health insurance. If you could direct that to the Student Health Center in regards to whether or not you do have to pay, or if they will waive the fee for fall. But Trisha, if you could go ahead and tell us a bit more about the Homecoming 5K and what that is all about.
Oh, yes. So homecoming, for those of you that may not be familiar with this activity, is basically an opportunity. The reason why they call it homecoming is because it's an opportunity for alumni to come back to campus, to come back home and meet old friends, meet new friends, the current student body, a lot of the faculty and staff get together, and we do activities throughout the week. And it ends with a basketball game. The Homecoming 5K, we partner with departments like the Student Wellness Center, sorry, Casey, the Student Wellness Center and Residential Life. And it kicks it off. It's Wednesday evenings, usually a Wednesday evening around 7 or 8 o'clock. We give everybody glow sticks, and we have glow in the dark tape, and we just do a nighttime 5K throughout campus. We give out shirts. We hopefully give out shirts, and we have enough shirts, hopefully, that glow in the dark or a very neon type color so we can find you. And don't worry, you won't get lost. It's not a very big campus. And so we kick it off with like a fun warm-up dance, not dance party, but just a fun warm-up exercise. And then one of our club cyclists leads everybody through campus on a 5K, and we have checkpoints. You can walk it, you can jog it, you can do whatever you want. And then at the end, Casey, if I'm not mistaken, the student union usually has some sort of kind of like a fair environment with popcorn and music and other prizes and giveaways, and then it leads into the float building party that we have. So you go from one event right to the next event, and it's like 3 or 4 days of activities for homecoming, which, like I said, ends with a tailgate and into the basketball game.
Cool. Thank you, Trisha. And I do have one more question for you that was posted in the comments, but just to kind of elaborate back on the question about health insurance. So just to clarify, if you are not in the United States, you do have the ability to waive your health insurance. There is a form that you have to fill out for that. So I posted the link to our website for where you can get information for how to access the health questions about health insurance, and that is handled by the Student Health Center. Now, moving on, we do have a question from Kunal Dailani, and this question says, in these unprecedented times, how are the recreation activities going to be carried out? So I know that, right now, every department is, still trying to figure things out, but to the best of your ability, Trisha, how can we help answer this question?
Sure. Yes. So that is something that my department, along with everybody else on campus and every other recreational department in the country, in the world, I would imagine. So virtually, as I mentioned, we have our group exercise program that you can participate virtually. You can even do personal training virtually. Aside from our esports virtual opportunity for those of you that aren't gamers, we can do a virtual 5K. So you mentioned the homecoming 5K. There's a virtual 5K or a virtual 10K. They've even done virtual marathons where you take a picture of your smartwatch or whatever it is that you use to track your distance, and you go out and run, and then you submit your time, and then we're able to determine the winner, for lack of a better term, for that type of event. In person, for those of you that are on campus, we are working on doing events that can be socially distanced. For example, you can play golf while socially distancing. You can play disc golf while socially distancing. You can play horseshoes while socially distancing. We can do badminton while socially distancing. So we even thought about going back to some very, I call them old style games. And I know some of you may not be familiar with them, but it's like a Dizzy Lizzy, where you put your head on a bat and you spin around 10 or 12 times, and then we see how far you can run around the bases and who could do it the fastest without falling down and hurting themselves. We'll keep you safe, don't worry. But I call them old school games, or I think it's called backyard games. So we are trying to come up with things that will meet everybody, whether, like I said, you are a competitive person, or if you just want to get out and have some fun and meet new people. And we will try to do these virtually as well, some in person and some virtually, so that way everyone can participate. Because that, in the end, I think that's what we all want people to do, is to find something that they can enjoy and have fun and be a part of UTD.
Cool, awesome. Thank you, Trisha. Well, we have actually come towards the end of our live event, and I do not see any more questions in the comment section. I keep saying comment section. Technically, it is the comment section since we are comets, but in the comment section, But I would like to go ahead and officially thank all of our guest presenters who presented and shared their information. Everyone who is listening, please reach out to them if you have any questions whatsoever. It is better to ask them and they can help you than to just sit and try and figure everything out by yourself. We are here to support you. Also, thank you to the intercultural program staff who have supported this event, Katie Russo, Flower Mwangi, and Leticia Zamaripa. Before I go, I would like to plug an upcoming event that we actually have today at 2 p.m. We will be speaking with the Bangladeshi Student Organization, and they're going to tell us about how the education system works in their country. I know that might sound a little different, but trust me, it's going to be fun. I will be hosting it, so you know it's going to be lively and interesting. So check us out, and if you're not able to attend at 1 p.m., I know it's a bit later in the night. For some, the event will still be available on our Instagram for 24 hours. So that is the end, everyone. Everyone, please continue to stay safe, take care, and we'll see you at another orientation event. Goodbye, everyone.